Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Accordion podcast. A podcast where we talk to musicians, accordionists, we talk about career, we talk about what it means to be a musician in the 21st century. I am your host, Gennady Rotari, and it's a pleasure to have you with us on this journey. If you like the podcast and haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it, whether on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or on YouTube, so that you get all the updates when new episodes come out. Also, if you enjoy the podcast, please rate and review the podcast. This helps get the podcast discovered on the different platforms. Another quick update, the podcast now has a Patreon page. There are 3 different tiers. The first one is listener, then there's the supporter, and then there's the fan. So for a one-time or monthly donation, you get the access to the WhatsApp and Telegram communities, as well as early updates on guests and upcoming episodes, patrons-only polls. Other perks include also participation in Hangouts, whether live or online, the different masterclasses that I'm planning to organize, Q&A sessions. You also get the chance to ask the next guest a question. And for the top tier, you also get a shout out at the end of each episode and will receive exclusive merchandise from the podcast. So check out the link in the description of this episode. And if you really enjoy it, please consider supporting it. Again, you can do a one-time donation or you can support the podcast on a monthly basis. Thanks again for being here and for listening to these conversations. And without further ado, let's jump into this next episode. So welcome to another episode of the Everything Accordion podcast. This is the second time that I'm recording live, and it's a great pleasure to have our guest here in person. Today I'm in beautiful and bustling heart of Thessaloniki in Greece, and it's a great pleasure to have Panagiotis Andreoglou as a guest on the podcast. Panagiotis, thank you for accepting the invitation and for being here.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to talk to you.
It's a great pleasure also because we were chatting, I think, on Messenger or on Facebook for some time years ago. And, the first time to meet you in person and to actually deepen this conversation and to exchange a bit of thoughts, and learn a bit more about you. So, first things first, how did it happen that you encountered the accordion for the first time?
Yes, the accordion. We had an accordion at home when I was young. My father could play just a little bit, just 2 or 3 songs. He was a teacher, like a primary school teacher, and they had to play an instrument just a bit. So he chose the accordion. And then I was listening to him and would like to learn also myself. And then at some point, my mother said that I was insisting really a lot to go to the music school and learn this instrument. So they had to take me before I knew anything. So they had to take me there, and I think I was 7 years old. And then I started there at my hometown. Kavala is near Thessaloniki. It's one hour and a half away from here.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this municipal conservatory with really many students there at that time. It was like 600 or 700 students.
Wow.
So like a big community of many instruments and choirs and orchestras and stuff. It was really, really big school. Then I started there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my...
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's... I believe it's the story of many, like having someone in the family, like having an accordion. I'm not very familiar. Is the accordion very prevalent in Greek music?
In traditional music?
In general.
There is accordion, yes, in some folk music or traditional music. For example, here in North Greece, there are different kinds of traditional music in different areas of Greece.
Mm-hmm.
So here in the north there is Thraki. There is an area here, so they use it a lot in this the traditional music. And then there is Rebetiko. I don't know if you have heard about it. It's like music of 20th century folk Greek music.
Okay.
It's not so old, but they also used the accordion.
Yes. Okay.
So there are some people that playing, and there is a tradition here. Of course, keyboard, accordion, and standard bass system. That's the maybe not left hand at all. Maybe only in this traditional music.
Right.
Some musicians were playing just melodies. And,
Right.
Yeah.
But like regarding more, let's say, academic pursuit of the accordion, like for a young accordionist today who would like to pursue that, what are the options inside Greece? Because I must admit I'm not very familiar with the environment. That's why I'm asking you about that.
The accordion is taught at the university here in Thessaloniki. Um, in this academic in university level. I think it started at some point in 2008, 2009. I'm not sure exactly when. So, but there are some years now. So, and these are classical studies of classical accordion. And there is a technological institution in west side of the country, but was somebody can learn the more folk or traditional instrument there.
So if we think about 2008, it's it's quite recent.
It's quite recent, yes.
So
yes.
What was your journey then of becoming a professional concert accordionist?
I think it's quite long, maybe, or it's like a story.
We have time.
Yeah, we have time. I don't know. I had very nice school years, I think. So in this conservatory that I told you before, we had many concerts. We were traveling to different cities in Greece. We were playing concerts. We had an accordion orchestra of around, sometimes we were 35 instruments on this orchestra. We traveled to festivals. We went to Castelfidardo when I was 14. We went to another festival, like a student orchestras gathering in the Netherlands when I was 12. So I had all these experiences with this, and I was like drawn to this to music in general, let's say. So then I was also taking piano lessons from quite a young age. And then I when I was 18, I was accepted at the university here, but it was musicology studies. I continued with piano studies also at this conservatory. And then I think I encountered this, the classical accordion with melody bass and stuff. When I was 25 or 26, I was quite old, not very young at that age. But I really wanted to get into this, and so I think I focused on that. And then 1.5 or 2 years later, I went for an audition in Denmark, in Copenhagen, at the conservatory there, and I got accepted at the masters. Nice. So then I studied there. So that was my first official, let's say, university studies with the accordion.
Yeah, but that's quite a journey. I mean, I can remember talking to my professor, Corrado Royets from Trieste. He was saying that he was studying accordion, but since it wasn't at the time, because in Italy, I think in 1992 was the first accordion class open in Florence. And at the time, if you wanted like some officially recognized document, you needed to do a quote-unquote serious instrument. So he had to study piano and the cello. And of course, he's also a very curious person, so he went to do musicology as well and so on, and did accordion. As in Italy, there was this old system where you could basically prepare for the exams with somebody else and then just go and take the exams at the conservatory in front of a commission. And then it would be recognized as an official document or diploma that you actually did something. And that's how he basically got his diploma in accordion. At the same time, he was studying with somebody else, And I can also relate to being exposed, to the different accordion realities. I was playing in the accordion orchestra of the music school, and we traveled quite often. And one of I started hearing what the potential of the instrument was. I started like getting tastes in music and actually like understanding, oh, okay, so it's not only a folk instrument, or it's not only, some, let's say, type of Russian modern music, which was in the early 2000s, like 1990s, with not only Repnikov, but like Chaikin, and these composers, but then new things were coming out with Zubitsky and so on. So I got kind of hooked into that. And when I heard Galeno, like that was like, at that moment I was like, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But I also transitioned. I think the first time I got an instrument with free bass system was 16 years old, but I didn't have a teacher until I was 18. So I was basically self-taught on the free bass system until I met Corrado, and then he was, put me to work, and that's kind of
quite similar to me. Now I remember that I got my degree at this conservatory when I was 16, but with standard bass. And my parents gave me as a gift Pizzini accordion with melody, with free bass system. But I didn't have a teacher at that time to learn the instrument. So the instrument was sitting somewhere there. I always wanted to learn. And so some years later, I started learning here. Kostas Raptis, who is teaching here at the University of Macedonia, was my first teacher as a private some lessons at these 2 years I told you before.
Yeah.
And then I prepared for I got accepted here at the University of Macedonia, but first I went to Denmark.
Of course.
That
was also had a more established history of accordion, and
that was my goal at first to go there. But then I also got my degree from the university here. So that's
but
sometimes time comes to some things would happen.
Exactly. I also think so. Like sometimes we can push as much as we want, but it just doesn't, maybe it's not the time, maybe it's not the moment, maybe it's not the place. Can also happen. Exactly. So you went to study in Denmark, and was there some cultural shock, let's call it like that, not only musically, but also on a more personal level, like cultural wise?
It was for sure. It's a very different country and culture and stuff. I had some experience of living abroad because I went to an Erasmus program for 6 months to Helsinki when I was studying musicology here. I went there for an Erasmus exchange. So that was my first really big shock of another culture and living in another country. Very different from Greece. So Denmark, I was a little bit prepared, to tell you the truth, of what to expect. But then, of course, it's something different also. Denmark and Finland are not so... They're close, but not so much. There are differences.
Yeah.
So then you have to adjust again and see how things are there. But I liked it. I liked both countries a lot. Also Denmark, yes.
But you came back to Greece.
I came back to Greece, yes. I had a job position here as a teacher. So everything happened almost at the same time. I got accepted to Denmark, I got accepted here at the university, and also got this job position as a teaching position. So I took like a leave of absence for 2 years.
To finish the studies.
To finish my master's degree, and then I was in this dilemma to come back or stay there and try something. But then I knew that if I would stay there, I would lose this. And it was like a permanent job, this one. So I chose to come here and try it. I didn't know if I would like it or how it would go, but finally I think it turned out to be...
It worked as it should have.
Yeah, it worked, yes. It worked.
Nice. And you're also very active as a performer, and I know, and it's something that I'm very interested in, that you got a Fulbright scholarship to go to the United States and work with composers, work on a project that you wanted to explore and research. Could you say a couple of words for the listeners who don't know what a Fulbright scholarship is?
Yes. This scholarship connects the US with different countries, and all the rest of the world with the United States. So it has to do with students, master students or doctoral students, artists or university teachers, professors that want to travel and make a project there or something like this. So this is the aim of this scholarship. So it's a big one. It's like a worldwide.
So it's not only music; it's like
It's
everything.
not only music, and yes, and it goes around to many countries of the world. So there's a competition. It's quite tough competition, and some very few positions for. So that year it was I was lucky and I got the only scholarship for music.
Okay.
There were 3 artist scholarships. The other one was theater, I think, or no, it was like a film, something with film and documentary. Yes, the other one was theater and then music. Um,
what was your project? Like, what were you interested at the time to explore?
I think at that time I had experience with working with composers, and I was really much into this, into contemporary music and all this, all this word, specific word, and I started playing some pieces with electronics at that time, and I wanted to find out more about that, and I knew that in the US they have some nice studios, and there are some good composers that are were this were their main focus. And I had a connection with a professor there in Ohio, in the university there. So they said that yes, we will be happy to have you here and for a semester, for an academic semester. So yeah, there are many things that have to be fixed in order to be able to go there. You need an official invitation from the university, and they have to see the economics and everything that they are able to invite you somehow.
Yeah.
So then you can apply here. If you don't have this invitation, you are not able to apply for the scholarship.
Okay.
And since it's not a formal degree, it's like a visiting artist. You are like an artist in residence there. They have to see if the system of the university there can accept some people like this. So you need to talk first.
Yeah, you also need to kind of prepare the ground before actually applying in a way.
Yeah, it's good if you know somebody and they know you also, that they can invite you. Because it's 6 months, it's not just 1 week.
True. I remember I was talking to Ivo Jedinecki. He's this Polish accordionist. He was on the podcast, and he was going to the US as well on a Fulbright scholarship. And he said that he was interested in going to New York, and then he went to all the universities, music universities around there. Since they didn't have an accordion department, we didn't know where to put him. So basically, he auditioned for percussions as an accordionist, because that was the only class that was open-minded enough to say, okay, let's see what you bring, because percussionists are also a lot into new music. So they're working a lot on with composers and so on. So the accordion was kind of in the same boat, let's say, at that moment. And I don't remember what was the other one, but there was some other instrument, simply because we didn't know where to put. Yeah. So I think it was chamber music that he got in. I don't remember right now, but yeah, it's a lot of research and doing this work. And what do you find most challenging with working with electronics? Because I have this project in the back of my mind, but I really want to do some works with electronics. But sometimes it's difficult to find the place. Sometimes it's difficult to find the people, and sometimes it's difficult to find the venue is the place, but I also mean the organizers who would say, okay, let's do it.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, it's a bit. You need some extra effort if you want to play to organize concerts with electronics. I haven't done it a lot after that, to tell you the truth. Now I have an idea that I want to do it again. The best occasion is when you have some people like a composer or a sound engineer that can help you with the place and with the venue, that
Mm-hmm.
knows the venue and knows some technology, and they can help you. Because if you have a good musician there, then I also feel very safe,
Mm-hmm.
um, compared to being alone, for example,
True.
and try to coordinate everything there with the speakers. And sometimes I have my ear, to listen
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
To
the
the
beat,
balance and the
to the
levels
balance and
and
the beat, and then you cannot listen very well from outside. So
mm-hmm.
you need somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's really helpful to
Yeah.
have somebody there. And if the composer is there, it's great. Or somebody
Mm-hmm.
that can help. So that's what I aim when I want to play with electronics. I would like to have somebody that knows this and I can trust.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always
It's
a
really useful.
collaboration on that point because otherwise
Mhm.
it's okay. I can try and do my best, but
You can do it by yourself, of course. You can go and test a little bit before and see the
mm-hmm.
acoustics and how everything sounds. But it's better because something can happen also during the performance.
Sure.
It's technology, and it's so
Yeah.
it's good to have a person that helps you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I consider myself somewhat tech savvy, but if I see like
Mm.
I don't know, the electronics is not going well, or it's stopping, or it's like cutting itself at some point. Like the only reaction I want is like turn off off button and then on again, and
Yeah.
let's try it once again. But then it's
I'm
just
not
like,
so good at this
yeah, no,
technology,
it's
so I really want somebody to. I was like in the US. I played two concerts there, and
mhm.
in both of them there were some people that were really helpful. And yes, so the result was nice. And I have some recordings from these concerts, and they are really good.
Mhm.
So yes, it's.
Are there online these recordings?
I have something I
Hmm.
think on my SoundCloud.
Okay,
Yes,
I will put
yes.
the link in the description of the episode so the
Hmm.
listeners can go and
Hmm.
listen. I'll
Yes.
also put your website for those who want to know more about you. And yeah, going back from like your, let's say, formal studies and coming back here, my question would be, how did you see, let's say, the opportunities for young accordionists today change, let's say, in this area? Because probably you're most familiar here. Because I know quite a few Greek accordionists, but most of them are basically outside of Greece, like in Vienna or in Germany,
Mhm.
or yeah, a bit all over the
Yeah.
place.
Mhm.
And how did you like? Do you find that the opportunities here in Greece for young accordionists aspiring to become professional concert musicians, like, did that change over the years?
Mhm.
Maybe it's a tough question. I'm sorry to put you in
Yeah,
this.
no, but it's good question. It's good and very interesting. And I also was thinking a lot about this. And when you want to find your way and find your path and where to go and how things are done and stuff. And so when I came back from Denmark, it was not so easy to get into the world of classical music and play concerts and stuff. It's our instrument is an outsider somehow, as
Mm,
you know. So for me, I always had that, but also after my studies there, I had this very much in my mind that I wanted to get into the classical music world and not so much isolate myself to accordion and
mhm,
only this stuff. So I wanted to play with other musicians and other instruments and ensembles, and so that's where I focused
mhm,
on. So there was an ensemble here in Thessaloniki at the time that I participated with 12 musicians,
mhm,
contemporary music mostly.
mhm,
So I played there, and then in Athens there was there is a Greek Composers Union that they
mhm,
organized some concerts. So I played also some concerts with them, with other instruments. I mean,
mhm,
so I wanted to become somehow part of this greater classical community or this chamber music
Yeah.
community in Greece, and I think this helped me somehow. And then I got invited as a soloist also from these organizations or these places. There are two main concert halls, one here in Thessaloniki, like the Megaron, it's called here, and in Athens. And there is a Onassis Foundation. I don't know if you have heard about this. It is like an institution in Athens with a very nice concert place also there and a very nice venue. So I tried to get into this kind of places and like earn a position somehow there and then know some people and they get to, but it takes some time to
Yes.
it took some time for me to be there. And then I don't know. Now lately, I'm mostly focused on making my own project and some collaborations and some. So it not only depend on others when they invite you to play, but maybe have your own project and so you were more independent somehow.
Yeah, I asked you about this because I was thinking about this lately. I tried to organize some concerts for myself and for my colleagues, like in Switzerland and also in Austria. And for example, in Switzerland, there's something, it's probably more like maybe a bit like in the US, but basically you have many foundations to which you can apply. And at that point, you should kind of be able to manage these projects. And it means booking the venue, contacting the venue, filling out the forms, contacting all the necessary people. And at that point, you can actually have a very fruitful and satisfying career as a musician and your quote unquote self made career as a musician. Of course, it's not self made because you had help all over. But at that point, you need to be proactive, all the time. And I always try to find a balance between already established realities, but because for some reason, of course, you kind of want to belong to the higher echelons of, the classical music, or like new music or whatever you want to play on the big stages where, your idols play and so on. Or maybe it's just me, but it's. I think it's a dream of many musicians, especially like students and young aspiring musicians. And I kind of try to still keep the relationships, of course, with the venues and the festivals and the organizations that promoted my concerts, or somehow we got in touch and I played for them. But at the same time, I think like nowadays, probably I myself am learning how to put together, let's say, a concert tour. 4 or 5 concerts that I can apply for funding, I can apply for that, how to do marketing and publicity and ads and so on. Of course, it's a huge job for a musician. How would you define like of course, I believe your goal was to kind of create a space here and be a part of a greater musical scene in Greece, and that was kind of like pushing you towards being like contacting the composers union in Athens and so on and so forth. Do you feel, you said like now that you are working with your own projects, and I believe at some point it's kind of more or less the same, but at one point you kind of want to build your own thing. And I had a guest, a pianist and an entrepreneur on my podcast, and she said, well, we are aiming, if you don't want us at your table, we're going to make our table and invite whoever we want to the table.
Yes, and maybe it's this, and but also I think it's very creative to create your own space and maybe your own project and play to different places and stuff. So now lately I think I'm much more into finding, for example, a small, nice new space that here's some concerts, organizes some concert, and I'd like to be there and play there, and because they might have very nice acoustics, for example. And we tried lately a nice space here in Thessaloniki with just 40 or 50 chairs. That's the availability for this space, but it has really nice acoustic, and
Mhm.
it's they make some theater productions there, and now they're thinking to put some concerts, and
Nice.
maybe we will be I have a new project with a saxophone player,
Mhm.
and I think we will be the first to play there. And I hope that this will continue. And
Mhm.
his goal is to put a concert every Tuesday night, for example. And I
Okay.
think it's very nice.
Yeah.
If the acoustics is it's good, it's nice to have a concert there. And then tomorrow I'm playing in my hometown in Kavala,
Mhm.
also in a very nice space. And
Okay.
it's also a very small one, but I think there he hosts painting exhibitions and
Mhm.
photography exhibitions and some DJ sets and then
Okay.
some improvisation of
Mhm.
acoustic instruments, but also electronic stuff. So I like to support him
Mhm.
to support the space, and they give me also whatever I want. Somehow they are really
Mhm.
nice and polite and creative, and so I believe this is very creative to make some smaller spaces very authentic, and you support them and they support you somehow. This is
Yes.
how I feel it works here in Greece, mostly because we don't have here it's we don't have institutions that can support you
Mhm.
financially. So you have to do it by yourself.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
sometimes you don't earn a lot of playing in small places, but it's nice and it's creative if you can do it.
Yeah. I think like every nice like festival grew in time. Again, also like small,
Small, yeah,
with
sure.
the forces of the people that trusted and believed in this
Mm,
project.
mm,
And like I agree and relate to this also because like I noticed lately, I don't know if it's the post effects of COVID or whatever, but like to get people out of the house, even like colleagues. And what shocks me sometimes, it's like I had this one performance in Switzerland in the city where I teach. So, of course, I informed my pupils, my colleagues, and so on. I made like a poster, put it in the music school. None of them came.
mm,
Some of them said, sorry, we have planned stuff. And, okay, I can understand that. But like they came and said, sorry, but we're not here physically,
mm,
you know. And one other person just said, "Oh yeah, no, sorry, I'm at this electronic music festival," and I'm
mm,
like, "Yes, but this festival is there like for days or 5 days, and I'm playing for 1 hour,
mm.
like for the first time here,
Yeah.
you know, and come and support me, you know."
Yes.
And it's not about my ego; it's also because, like, for example, if I see some colleague that is trying to create something and do something like a concert series or puts a poster or on Instagram a photo, I will share it like with the people I know that are in the area,
Mm,
or I will come to your concert because I believe that you not that you lack the support, but I want to support you to build um, the audience and the recognition that you deserve, and kind of be a part of this entire process. And I think that sometimes, especially like among colleagues, sometimes it happens that just like, oh yeah, well, I'm tired, I have this to do, that to do, or maybe I just don't feel like it. And it needs just that small push from yourself to go outside the house and say, you know what, I'm gonna go and support Panagiotis or this
yeah.
person or this other person, even if I'm
Yeah.
like five people in the hall.
Yes. I'm not sure what it has to do with what it's related. This thing. Maybe it has to do with COVID, and still we have this effect, or maybe it doesn't have to do with it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something irregular. But I think that it's nice to have this support from the space that you play. Also, for
Mm-hmm.
example, maybe you have some people that would like to follow you and listen to you, and especially if you do something nice and something
Mm-hmm.
new or something fresh and stuff. And then this space has an environment with some people that follow the space. So this collaboration maybe be something something
Hmm.
something nice, and
Yeah.
have some support somehow.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's why this collaboration is
Hmm.
nice. That's what I hope for. We'll
No,
see. I'm not sure how it works, but
yeah, but I think all the best things are done like starting like that, like I will support you, you will support me, then another person
mm,
supports us, then, and that way we kind of grow together because otherwise, if like I'm supporting you, I'm coming to all the concerts, and one concert I'm organizing, they're like, oh no, sorry, today I'm staying at home. Um, I mean,
yes, but we cannot push anybody
of
to,
course not.
of course, and yeah, I think it depends on many things,
Hmm.
how and why people will come and listen to you or to somebody in general, and
Hmm.
how you go to listen to some concerts, and
Do you think it's also because we became a little bit too comfortable by having like everything at home?
of course it's
Because
so easy, and
you
it's
just stay on the sofa, you put on Arte TV or
yes,
YouTube or Spotify, and you just hear the best recording of
yes.
something.
But
But
of course, for me, it's always different and better to be there and
yes,
share this moment with the musician and be with the audience, and listen to somebody live. Of course,
yeah. Also because it's not only we're not going only to the concert like to hear.
yeah,
It's also about the
so
entire experience with whom
of
we're
course,
going afterwards. I remember I took this course in self management with Panagiotis, and something that changed a little bit my mindset around concerts was he said, well, don't think, because we musicians many times think that our concert starts with when we walk on stage and when we walk off the stage. And I'd say that that's most of us that were thinking or still are thinking like that. But actually, and when I started to put myself into the shoes of a concert goer, you
hmm
know, because of course being on stage is cool, but also being a part of the audience, you can also learn a lot and like enjoy a lot the
yes,
experience. And he said that the concert experience starts with the moment that you decided to buy the ticket
true,
or
yes,
you decided to go to the concert,
hmm
because then you start getting excited. You come back from work, you shower, you prepare yourself, put on a nice shirt or a skirt or whatever, a nice dress, and you go outside, maybe have a drink before, an aperitivo with someone. You go, you meet people. I mean, yeah, it's also about this social interaction, but I
yes,
think that's why I said COVID, because it was this, it's not COVID per se, but it was this push in distancing ourselves
hmm
and talking through screens. And like, for example, today that we met, you could also have said, oh, sorry, I have a performance tomorrow,
hmm
maybe next time.
hmm
But then again, like, I don't know what's going to be next time, but I'm going to be in Thessaloniki, hopefully soon.
yes,
But, so we took the chance, we met, and
yes, yes,
we were having this conversation. So yeah, it's this social aspect that I think it's crucial to kind of start reconnecting, especially in the beginning between ourselves, colleagues, because even if we don't come to our own concerts, how do we expect audiences, to
yes,
kind of
true,
come to the
true,
concerts?
true.
So,
True, and as you were saying before, there is a whole different job than playing music. All this promotion and how you will present your concert and present your work and stuff on social media or generally there. This is a whole new job, and it takes time and it takes effort and it takes. Sometimes you need to do it by yourself, or sometimes they ask you for information and stuff,
mhm.
and we were thinking, for example, lately, should we present our program a little bit before so the audience will know what to expect? Is this a good idea, or should we leave it in? And I think it's nice to talk about it
Mhm.
also before, and maybe
Absolutely.
during the concert also sometimes, but
Mhm.
also before, so uh, people will know what to expect somehow. And
I think especially, in these venues where you don't have like 2,000 people,
mm,
because there it would be difficult to talk to like everyone.
yes,
But if you have like 40 people, 50 people, 100 people, you can actually, like, nowadays, in the beginning it felt a little bit weird, but nowadays do this dialogue concerts basically. So I don't want to be like this performer on stage and you're sitting there and we're both of course we will enjoy the moment, but I also want that this barrier between us, the stage, kind of disappears, or I want you to invite to be a part of this experience.
Nice.
So if like I say a couple of words maybe about the piece that I'm going to be performing, why I like it, why I chose it, if it fits, how does it fit, or it's just an inspiration of a moment, and maybe say a small anecdote about something. Not that it should become a stand-up comedy show, but it's a different kind of performance. But having this dialogue with the audiences, I find, it's kind of also bringing again this social aspect again together.
It's always good, and people like it, and to listen, to hear something about what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're playing, and it can be anything.
Because also like maybe to stay in silence, they could also watch something on YouTube on the screen.
Yes,
it's not the same, of course. Of course, but
sure.
It's also
this is something.
Talking with the artists, and because for many, I think, like normal quote unquote concert goers, the musicians and the artists are still this kind of romantic creature that's possessed by some inspiration and is doing all of his wonderful sounds on the stage. But it's just what we do. We practice for that. We bring something to share with the audiences, because also I think without the audiences, like we musicians wouldn't exist simply. Because maybe an art gallery, of course, you can have it's like having the most beautiful painting in the world, but if nobody sees it, what's it worth?
Of course.
And if you have this huge amazing project that you've put together and you think that it's the best thing that ever exists, but nobody can hear it, then it doesn't exist.
Yes.
So what are some of the projects that you are looking forward to? Now it's the end of the year, so you're performing tomorrow. And what are some of the projects that you're looking forward to for the upcoming months? Or let's say end of this year, beginning of next year.
I think what I'm preparing lately is this new duo with a saxophonist, and that we're playing. We were thinking of playing together for some years now, and now we got the opportunity to do it. So it's nice, and I'm happy for it, and I'm looking forward to play with him. We arranged one concert, but then we want to continue. We have already talked to some other places, so we'll see what we will do, if we will have some more concerts. But we will play in Thessaloniki the 3rd of December first. This is our first concert. Then I go to Athens in December also, and I play with this Greek Composers Union another concert. I play with a cellist. I will play Goodbye Tulina in Kroce, in a nice venue there, and it's a nice place. And then I think I also play. I play with this folk music band that we play music from South Italy. We are connected with people from South Italy, because there are some Greeks went there some many years ago, and so there is this dialect, a language that is similar to Greek. So there are some similarities, and they have this dance, tarantella, pizzica, and there was an Italian guy that came here and made this band, and I play there, and it's nice, and I joined that. Nice. So we have concerts with them sometimes, and I play with them. This is another project that I do. And lately also I made music for a theater performance here. There's a big institution in Thessaloniki, the National Theater of Northern Greece, it's called. So they have some venues in Thessaloniki, and there are different plays that are going on performances. So I made the music, and I was playing on stage as a musician in this performance, and maybe we will do it again. We have some performances on September and October. Maybe we'll do it again. So these are some projects that I think I will do during this next next period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a different kind of
No, but I love it.
music,
But it's so versatile. It's
yeah,
so
it is. It is.
so
Yes.
many different directions and so many different collaborations.
Yes,
Again.
it is. And then, as I told you before, I conduct this orchestra at school where I teach, and there are already 2 concerts organized for spring.
Wow.
With one in Veria where I teach, and one here in Thessaloniki in this Megaron hall. And I also enjoy these concerts with the students and this orchestra, which is also something really different there.
Yeah. So for context for the listeners, it's not an accordion orchestra. It's a normal orchestra.
It's a normal, quite normal orchestra, like a symphony orchestra. And we play different repertoire there with them. And I also made these orchestrations for the orchestra because we cannot find typical repertoire for them. And but these are all different stuff, and sometimes I need some time to adjust to everything, to different lessons. But it's also interesting. It's nice. I like to be in different environments.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like from the way I see it. That's kind of maybe identikit is a bit of a strong word, but that's kind of the identity of the 21st century musician for me, like
Probably.
doing, like teaching, performing, writing, connecting, making projects, collaborating, creating stuff.
It's quite typical, you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's kind of the way, because, of course, you could say, no, I'm performing only contemporary music or only folk music, or I'm a professor at an academy. But it's so, I think we're lucky that our job is so versatile and multifaceted.
At least I like it. Yeah,
I think we would get bored otherwise, It's and sometimes, for me, I had this. For some reason, I have like these phases. When I was younger, I always wanted to collaborate with composers and new music, and I was playing a lot of it, a lot. Then came a phase that I'm more into, like, I don't know, now I'm more into organ music, Mendelssohn, Bach, Liszt. I know it doesn't sound like the organ, but for some reason I just have this pull towards this music. And of course I have some pieces on my list that I want to learn, like from the more contemporary repertoire, but at the same time it's not I crave this, for me it's a question of balance. And sometimes, like, now I think I teach too much, too many days. So I would like to bring this balance, but at least that's how I feel. So I would like to bring this balance a little bit more towards performing. And now I need to, like, sit down and read all of the different requirements for asking for funds in Austria, in Switzerland, how to contact, how to fill in a form, how to create a project. So it's a whole new process, which I'm very curious. And yeah, I think that the curiosity, like, that's the main point.
Sure, it's a driving force somehow to do different.
And also, like, try out new things, like unexplored, do in a gallery that nobody did concerts before. Just be curious about. Let's see how it will go. And yeah.
It's inspiration also somehow. Yes. For example, this I always like this collaboration with other arts, somehow dance or theater and stuff. And I find inspiration. It's a nice process, a different process, and you learn many different things from when you collaborate with other artists. For example, with actors, for example, how what are their pace, and sometimes how they talk and how they move, and how you can go into there with your music and either comment on that or maybe play something opposite or put some more force into it. And stuff. This is things that you can get and you can use it on your, for example, solo performance or improvisation performance.
Yeah, because their bodies are their instruments and they work in different ways, but at the same time, like, they want an effect on the stage.
Mhm.
That's somehow what we want as well.
Yeah,
So
and it's fascinating to see that the effect is quite the same. That everybody wants in every art they want the same results somehow.
mhm,
How the thing that you want to express would get to the audience somehow,
mhm,
and how you communicate this. And there are different means,
mhm,
but the goal sometimes is the same. And if you go to different environments and try yourself there, then you find some commonalities. For example, in conducting
mhm,
an orchestra, you get some motion and some movements that you wouldn't do
mhm,
otherwise,
mhm,
but you feel the music in another way, and this also you can incorporate in your playing somehow.
mhm,
So everything connects, and then you can make a rehearsal, the orchestra, inspired by your own practice.
mhm,
As for example, as an instrumentalist, as an
mhm,
accordionist, what do you do when you want to learn something difficult? Then you try to find ways to rehearse this
sure.
with the orchestra. So everything connects somehow. Because I said before that I need sometimes I need time to adjust. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's
Mhm.
everything.
Just
It's
flows.
quite
Mhm,
connected and close. It
mhm,
depends how you see it and
true.
how you do, but it's something like this.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's fitting and great conclusion
Yeah,
to,
sure, sure,
to our chat and to our conversation.
sure.
And Panagiotis, thanks a lot for this meeting and for the inspirational talk.
Thank you too. It was
Because
very nice that we met in person, I think, and then you came here in
you know,
Saloniki, and it was very, very, very nice.
as you were saying, also like about to experience, to try out. I think also like the inspiration to live. For me, I feel very inspired being here in Tesla. I was never here,
Hmm.
seeing new places, breathing different air,
Mhm.
like being in a new place. It's also very inspiring.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's just sometimes it feels like, okay, I'm in the same place and nothing's happening.
sure.
But sometimes that feeling is just, a very slow slope towards something that will happen in the future. It's all a
Hmm.
question of balance and perspective, in
Yeah.
my opinion. But my goodness, thanks again
Thank you
for the
too.
chat. It was really great meeting you.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Reach out with comments, suggestions, listen to the other episodes if you haven't done so yet. Feel free to reach out to me on social media, send in an email. You can also send in a voice message if you'd like. The link is in the description of the episode, right at the bottom. If you'd like to support the podcast, if it brings value to you, if you find it helpful and useful and entertaining, or whatever the reason, there's also the option to support the podcast with a small donation. Thank you again for listening and see you in the next episode.